Hey, beloved, how are you all doing? Welcome to the 12-minute message. We know we are running a little late tonight, but we had to work late. We had a little late. We had to work later than expected. Well, we had to work till 6 o'clock, but we got in a little later than expected and a little more tired than we expected. So we are somewhat exhausted, but we're just going to have a brief 12-minute message for you. Uh, It might not even be a whole 12 minutes. Just giving a few people a chance to get in here. I want to thank those of you who joined us for our worship service on last night. Thank you. We had a high time in the Lord, a virtual high time in the Lord, and we thank you for joining us. Amen. Amen. Come on in, come on in, come on in. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. We see you. Good morning. We see you. We see you. We see you, Sister Black, Sister Edwards. God bless you. We see you. We see you. You on Facebook. Amen. Amen. And amen. Good morning. Good evening, Sister Ransom. Good evening. Good evening. Oh, I am tired. It has been a long day. I am tired. I am. It has been a long, long day, but, we are thankful and grateful for those of you who joined us for the 12-minute message. I want to talk to you about living peaceable as best you can with all men. And that was one of our things that we talked about on last night, living peaceable as best you can with all men. Our cross of being sociable. For some reason, people think living peaceable with all men as best you can means that you have to kiss the behind of your enemy, or you have to bow down and kowtow to people. It does not mean that. That is not what it means, and that is not how you live peaceable with all men. I work in an environment, or I worked in environments where there were people who walked past me, walked by me, totally ignored me. And then I would be called upon to help them. And it surprised them that I helped them because the shoe on the other foot, whatever they have or hold against me, that's on them. I hold nothing against them. Won't speak to you, won't whatever. And so here's what it is. Here's an example of living peaceable among all men as possible. I think I've shared this story with you before. One time when I was way, way, way younger, I was just out of the military, probably was in my early 20s, out of the Navy, and I still like the water. I went marlin fishing for the experience of it. If I knew then what I knew now, I would have kept that fish. And a guy, he wanted to buy it. He didn't catch one, and he wanted to buy it. And he said, I'm willing to pay you whatever it costs you for this 3-day trip, your hotel, this, that, and the fee for the, your rental fees for boat and stuff like that and getting on a boat. I said, sure. But I did it. I got fortunate and I caught one. If you've never been marlin fishing, this is the closest to fighting death you will ever come. So here I am marlin fishing, and we went out for 3 or 4 days. And it's a big boat, and on the boat, there's the captain, has no crew, and he has all the rigs and everything you need. And you pay a rental fee and stuff like that, and you can get insurance in case something happens, but you don't get the money back if nothing doesn't happen. So we are on this boat, and there was this man. He is Mexican. I was living in Florida at the time. In fact, I was living in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I went down to Miami and caught a boat out of Miami to go marlin fishing these 3 days. It was my first time in Miami, and years later, I would go back and visit. So and there's this man. He's sitting there. He doesn't speak any English. And every day I get on the first day, there's an older gentleman, Caucasian. Good evening, Sister Rao. Good evening, Sister Brown. And he tells me, listen, doesn't matter what you do. See that guy right there? He said, yeah. He said, put a couple of dollars in the little jar next to him. I went to put a $10 bill. He said, no, I ain't got to put nothing. Just put a couple of singles in there. Okay. Put a few singles in there. Another guy, everybody who got on the boat put in a couple of singles. Except this one guy. He didn't put in anything. He never put in anything. Okay. We went out the first day. Nobody kind of caught nothing. No marlins anyway. We caught some smaller stuff, threw those back. Second day, I'm like, man, why am I? The guy's like, listen, put something in that guy's cup. Put something in that guy's jar. Okay. I put something in this jar. We go, everybody puts something in this jar, but there's one guy who doesn't put anything in the guy's jar. So 2 or 3 people catch fish, but they're experienced marlin fishers, and they fought with this fish for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I thought that was exaggeration. People exaggerated when they said you could fight with these fish for 2, 3, 4 hours. Got on the third day, and I wasn't going to put anything in. In fact, I didn't bring any cash with me. And the reason I took cash going fishing is because when we got back to the dock, going back to the hotel from the pier, I would stop and get something to eat and stuff like that. So the same white guy who was kind of coaching me and mentoring me told the guy, gave the guy a $10 bill and pointed for me and him. And he said, nod. So I nodded, like, yes, okay. And he said, you're going to give me my $5 back. Okay. Same third guy gets on the boat, doesn't put anything in. So we're out there, and we're leaving to go out like 3, 4 a.m. in the morning and coming back at like 10, 11 o'clock. We get out there, and as soon as I throw my rig into the water, I get a bite. And the guy that I went with, the white guy that I knew, who I went with, knew him from the military that I went with, he's coaching me, and the captain of the ship is coaching me. Reel him in, let him loose. Let him loose, reel him in. And you can see the fish jumping up and doing like that. And man, when I tell you I fought this fish, every bit of 3.5 to 4 hours. Back hurting, head hurting, neck hurting, everything hurting. Now, the white guy I was with never told me why we were putting money in that guy's jar. He didn't speak English. He didn't anything. And I'm fighting this fish. And I kept yelling, somebody help me. I'm going to lose the rig. Nobody came to help me. I would yell again. I would fight. The captain would say, well, let him run a little bit. I would let him run. Release the thing and let him run. All right, click it back and let him. And he would, oh my God. I'm telling you, this was a battle. Finally, when I knew for sure I was going to lose my rig or be pulled in there, I felt a body bump up against mine and take and put its hands over my hands. Never looked at me, never said anything, and slowly started easing me out and pushing my hands down and grabbed the reel over my hand and push his hand closer in and ease my hand off the reel. And before you know it, I'm just standing there looking. And this man who is sitting there, when I looked, he looked like Popeye on steroids. And he just reeled that fish in. We got the fish on the boat. Then he jumped, did whatever he had to do, captured him, put him on the boat. The man went and sat back down. I went to go say thank you. The white guy was. I didn't say anything to the man. I felt bad. As we were heading back in, the white guy, and he helped 2 or 3 other people. The white guy, who was giving him nothing, caught a fish and was reeling him in and fighting him and this, that, and the other thing. And all of a sudden, his stuff was gone. And he looked around and he's yelling and cursing at the guy. Why didn't you help me? Why didn't you help me? Why didn't you help me? And the guy never raised his head. To live sociably among all people means to acknowledge the life, the existence, and the presence of even your worst enemy. Hey, Sister Johnson. Hey, Cousin Mabel. Because you never know who and where and when you're going to need a person. $15 saved me $1,000 of having to pay for a harness and a rig set in my life from a total stranger. The same $15 the other guy didn't want to give, it cost him another $1,000. When Paul says treat as best you can, live peaceably with all people. What he's saying is greet every man, greet every woman, live as best you can in peace and harmony. It doesn't mean you got to go out to dinner and dancing and the movies and all of this. All it means is you simply have to be cordial, even with your worst enemy. Acknowledge a person's existence because you never know when you're going to need them. And so just like the guy, 3 days, never acknowledged that man's existence. When he needed that man to acknowledge his existence, he didn't. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Acknowledge the existence of every man. Acknowledge the existence of every woman. Acknowledge the existence of every person on the planet. It does not mean you have to have them over for Sunday dinner. It does not mean you have to empty out your bank account to buy them food and clothes. What it means is you recognize that they are a person, that they are somebody with a simple hello, a simple how are you doing? And if they don't give you one back, that's fine. But as best you can, live peaceably with all men and with all women. And if they return you evil, the text says, then you have heat. When they're hungry, feed them. When they're thirsty, give them drink. When they're naked, clothe them. When they need you, you help them, because then you heap coals upon their head. As best you can. As best you can. Live peaceably with all people. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll see you here tomorrow night for the Friday wrap up. God bless. Have a great one. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Amen.